Hi everyone, I just discovered that somehow when I was uploading the last video about assignments that the video didn't complete properly. So although I recorded something about the entire, all the assignments, obviously there was an interruption or something, and so the last bit didn't take. So this is the assignment video part 2. I apologize for the confusion. It's always disappointing when we get to the first day of classes and discover that there's a problem, especially with the technology. But anyway, bear with me. And I'm just going to talk you through the very end of assignment 3 and give you a little bit of information about assignment 4, and you'll be all set for the rest of the semester in terms of assignments. So as I was saying, when the first video got cut off so abruptly, you probably will need to plan to visit your library for assignment number 3 at least once, and probably more than once. 2 or 3 times probably will be sufficient. I've asked that your report be no more than 10 pages long, and although I don't typically give page guidelines for assignments in this class, I've tried to cap it at 10 pages for this assignment because I know otherwise you could all write and write and write and write. And so I'm trying to save you some time and some stress, and also trying to keep the assignment somewhat manageable. Because I'm limiting it to about 10 pages long, you will not be able to include every single detail in the assignment, in the paper that you write. And that's okay. So you're going to have to kind of pick and choose what you choose to present as part of the assignment. And in the assignment information, I've given you kind of a rough outline of things that you should probably include. You might want to use those as specific headings in your paper, but again, like the other assignments, the format doesn't matter so much, or how you structure it doesn't matter so much, as long as you include those details. I've given you some guidelines about how I will assess your assignment, including your attention to detail, your completeness of the report, how you connect what you saw with some of the course readings and the discussions, and of course your writing style. And those are pretty common assessment criteria. Your final assignment is the big one. And in this assignment, I'm asking you to design a library reading program. For this project, you can either work by yourself, or if you know somebody in the class that you would like to work with, you are welcome to do so. In this assignment, you will be designing a reading program for a school or a public library based on the research and professional literature that we've discussed in class, and based on the things that we have learned and talked about throughout the semester. So your final project will be a reading program plan that outlines everything that is required to run a successful library reading program. And if you read through the entire assignment 4 document, I've tried to lay out the process and the requirements fairly specifically, although do recognize that I've given you these as guidelines, and your individuality, your creativity are all more than welcome, and I hope that you use these guidelines as just that, as suggestions and as guidelines, and I want to see how you take what we've learned and what we've talked about and really apply it to something very practical. So I'm asking you to use the library that you visited for the previous assignment as sort of the context for this particular assignment. If you choose to work with a partner, then you may have to negotiate which library you choose. Chances are you won't be working, or you won't do assignment number 3 on the same library. So you can sort out how you want to manage that part of it. But I think it's really important in an assignment like this to have an idea of a real library that you're planning for, simply because it gives more realism, and it gives you a better sense of who your audience might be. So as a result, I'm asking that your program plan be as specific and as realistic as possible. Prepare it as if it were being used by library staff members at this particular branch or library. I'm asking you, or suggesting to you, that you choose to focus your plan or programs for a specific age group, either for school-age children or for teens and tweens. You can even be more specific than that in terms of narrowing it down if you choose to, but I think a narrowed age group makes it a little easier to plan for this particular assignment. So I've given you, again, sort of a sample outline for the kinds of information that you need to include, and that's all in there. I'm not going to read through it in this video. You can certainly go through it yourself. The thing to remember about this assignment is it's not due until the very end of the course. The last day of classes, I believe, is the due date. So there's not a huge rush or necessity to panic about it at this point. We will talk a lot more about it as the semester goes on. I will be happy to answer questions as you go along, and I think it will become easier to think about it once we've started doing some of the readings and some of the discussions about the various topics that I have planned for the semester. The thing that I will draw your attention to is that you do need to show that you've considered all aspects of the course, the readings, the textbook, the discussions, the podcasts, etc., in your project. So make sure your plan includes information about things like how you will build relationships with children, how you're going to promote reading and how you're going to promote the programs, how you will talk to children about books. All of those kinds of things, as you will see, play a really important part of the course and the readings, and so you need to take those into consideration as you're planning your program. You can present your format or your project in any format that makes sense to you. If you want to include multimedia elements in your project, that's perfectly acceptable. You just need to make sure you have a way of sort of compiling all of that information into some sort of format that's easily accessible. I've given you some suggestions in the document, and I've given you some assessment criteria. This particular project, because it's going to look different for each person that submits one, I'm going to mark it fairly holistically, and I will try and give you some more specific guidelines about this as we go along, but I've given you some guidelines or some criteria that I'll be looking for at the bottom of the assignment information. The only other thing that I would like to draw your attention to is the very first page of the assignment sheets, the assignment package that's posted on the Angel site. The first page is called Basic Information for Assignments. Make sure you've read that because it talks about the late policy and due dates and the format. If you are going to submit as a Word document, how you need to do that. As I said, most of the time format doesn't matter, so if you're writing a report, then it will likely be a Word document, but all the other assignments like your observation report and your program plan may not fit into that sort of structure of a Word document, and that's okay. So make sure you've read through that, and if you have any questions, do let me know. Again, thank you for watching and listening. I hope you find this helpful. I hope it gives you a bit better sense of what the assignments are all about and how they will work within the context of this class. I apologize that you've had to watch a second part. That was certainly not my intention. If you have questions about the assignments, either now or certainly as we go along, and I'm sure there will be questions that arise as the semester goes on and as the due dates loom closer, feel free to either send me an email or perhaps more appropriately post messages and questions to the Angel discussion site, because I can almost guarantee that if you have a question, then probably somebody else has the same question, and it's worth posing that question so that everybody can see the answer. So thank you very much, everybody. I look forward to meeting you all on the Angel site over the next day or two, and look forward to working with you this semester. I think it's going to be a great term. Thanks.